At long last, hooray, Buckingham's downgrading Meghan and Harry exposed fake Archie and Lilibet. Sussex's 4,000-word individual profiles vanish altogether. Is this the end for the rogue couple? Well, let's find out in this video. In spite of growing public resentment at Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's continued inclusion on the royal family's website, Buckingham Palace has been consistently careful to avoid questions about why their details were still online, in spite of the fact that the couple quit royal duties 4 years ago and since then launched relentless attacks on the royal family in print, in TV interviews, and even in a docu-series. But for a brief while, those photos and biographies just disappeared completely. In what many people are going to see as a marked downgrading of their status, Harry and Meghan now only share a single joint biography showing a photo of them arm in arm looking goofy as all get out, hanging out like hippies on a beach in Australia with a combined word count of only 577 words. So at this point, they are the only married members of the royal family who don't get to have their own individual profiles. So Harry's includes only a few words about his birth and his upbringing, and a few words too about his career in the armed forces and the work that he did with Invictus Games. Meghan, though, hers just says that she was an actress and she ran a blog, and also they briefly included her patronages as a working royal and her official titles. So I would say this is definitely a step in the right direction. I think we need to congratulate the palace. Royal family, well done. I know they got to take things step by step, and I'm still a little bit bothered that there's still any mention of them at all. I think it's fine to just remove them entirely. I think the country would celebrate it, and it would also bolster the royal family's reputation. So it's more than okay to just take them off. Don't you worry about that. Don't worry about their feelings. They certainly haven't worried about yours. This is also leading to a more important question. Where are Archie and Lilibet? There isn't any information about the fake kids. Now, I have said so many times that Archie and Lilibet aren't real children. And eventually, their names are going to be removed. And look, I was proven right. There is no trace of either child. Harry and Meghan just act so weird about those kids. They never travel with them. They're always traveling either alone or together, but never with the children. They didn't even have them on their first Christmas card. It was simply Harry and Meghan in the photo. Now, a source has reported, probably more than one source actually, that Meghan never had any kids. She had a hysterectomy when she was in her 20s. If they really do have kids from a surrogate, they would have to prove that they used Prince Harry's DNA. Now, the housekeeper said a few months ago that there are no kids living in that Montecito home that Harry and Meghan claim to live in. They left the royal family, they left the UK for their own benefit. And one of the alleged children is American anyway, and America does not recognize royal titles. So where is the evidence that these children were really born from Meghan Markle's body? Nobody knows. This is just Harry and Meghan trying to promote a lie. If there really are children, then their paternity needs to be tested. And I believe it's all a lie, personally. And I think Meghan has some serious mental health issues. She is very disturbed. But anyway, back to the issue. So if they exist, neither Lilibet nor Archie's children are or could be eligible for the styling and the title of HRH and Prince and Princess. See, to be eligible for the style and title of HRH and Prince and Princess under the current letters patent, somebody has to be a child or a grandchild in the male line of a monarch, or the children of the oldest son of the Prince of Wales. But unless something really horrible happens, Archie and Lilibet's kids are not going to be related to the monarch in that way. Lilibet's children, for example, could never be eligible for those titles unless she herself somehow becomes queen or the rules change. Now, Archie's children would be eligible eventually to the style afforded to a duke, and if he has one, Archofficial's oldest son will eventually hold the title of Duke of Sussex, the title that Prince Harry currently holds, and I guess the other ones too. So let's use a real-life example. Prince Edward's daughter does not use Princess Louise, even though she is a princess by blood. Instead, she uses Lady Louise. That's hers by way of her father being a royal duke. So in the same vein, Archie and Lilibet could use Master and Lady, and technically Archie also has the right to use one of his father's lesser titles. So it really just depends on what the parents want. Now, when Archie and Lilibet were first born, Meghan and Harry did not announce them with titles, and they claimed back then they didn't care about titles, they didn't want to use them. So they said that they didn't want to be working royals anymore, they wanted to establish independent lives for themselves, and that made sense. But what I find incredibly disingenuous is the way that they moved to the US and then they turned around and insisted on King Charles using the Prince and Princess titles for those children. The titles do not come with any benefits other than merch opportunities, which is what Meghan cares about. The kids don't understand anything about service to the monarchy. I mean, they're not receiving the training. Realistically, they would have to be in Britain to do that. And another thing, if somebody with a title decides to become a citizen of another nation, they do lose the titles. And that's because the title means that that person owes certain allegiances to the monarch. And if an individual accepts another citizenship, well, that means they have taken an oath to shift their loyalty to another country, which would obviously constitute a real conflict of interest. As far as Archie is concerned, I'm not exactly certain what happens with the Duke of Sussex title. I do know, though, that if Harry ends up becoming a citizen of the US, he's going to lose the title. If he passes away and the family is in the UK, then Archie will inherit it. But I'm not sure that it's true that if Archie's not living in the UK, he could possibly still inherit that title. But if he's not living in the UK, again, why would he care about that title anyway? It's pretty meaningless in the US, and it certainly doesn't come with any money or anything like that. But anyway, in other news, let's talk a little bit about Meghan and Harry's demotion on the royal family's website. This is coming just a few days after Meghan launched her latest business venture, American Riviera Orchard. And she, of course, is using her official title, the Duchess of Sussex. But, I mean, who out there is going to buy some jam or honey or mugs or whatever it is from this evil woman after all the drama, all the trouble that both she and Harry have stirred up, especially what they did to Her late Majesty the Queen during her final year on this earth? You know, I would say, though, after Meghan's sneaky move to launch her ridiculous online shop just before William was giving out Diana awards, I think they got off incredibly lightly. They deserve to be taken off that website altogether, and they deserve to have their titles removed too. I mean, the way they have acted, the way they have treated the royal family is disgusting. And I cannot believe that Harry had the nerve to think that he could just step back in while his father and Catherine are ill. After everything he and Meghan did, I mean, really? After that horrible book, really going after his father, Camilla, his brother, and Catherine, he thinks that he can just waltz back in? What is wrong with him? So, in my opinion, demoting them is the right step to take. I mean, what did they expect after everything they've done? They were the ones who wanted to leave the royal family. They didn't care about doing those duties anymore. They wanted privacy, they said. They wanted the privacy to be able to appear on TV and write books attacking the royal family. But at the same time, they want to cling on to those titles that were gifted to them by the establishment they despise so much so they can make money off the titles. Now, the title should be removed altogether, so then they can get on with their lives and they won't be burdened anymore by those titles. You see, Harry only cares about being a royal when it's convenient for him, and Meghan's just a narcissistic, greedy, evil succubus. So why should they get to hold on to royal titles if they're not working royals anymore? Harry, what he did to his grandmother, the late Queen, is unforgivable, and what he did to the country, too. And you know, even after Her Majesty passed away, the attacks didn't stop. They got worse than what he and Meghan did before. King Charles should have already removed the titles and washed his hands clean of those two. I mean, you know, on some level, though, I gotta admit, I do feel a little bit sorry for Harry. So hear me out. I don't feel sorry for him right now, but can you imagine what his life is going to look like when he's, 50, 60 years old? He's going to be even more miserable than he is right now. I'm sure his children, if they're real, are going to hate him by that time. And he'll be ostracized from the only people who ever truly cared about him. By that time, Meghan Markle's going to be long gone. Life can be incredibly cruel when you end up in a situation like Harry's in. And the truth is, Americans adore Britain and the royal family too, and we despise Harry for everything he did, for telling about private conversations to try to make his own family look bad. And in spite of being smaller than many US states, UK has really shaped the modern world. We respect the UK for that. For example, thanks to Britain, we've got the jet engine, we've got the train, we've got a flushing toilet, we have the World Wide Web, we have stainless steel, vaccinations, radar, the telephone, the television, the laptop, the ATM, the list goes on and on. Britain is even responsible for inventing most of the world's most popular sports like football and boxing and golf. Britain is also responsible for producing 5 of the top 8 best-selling authors in history, and also 5 of the top 9 biggest-selling music acts ever. And in 1940, they stood alone. They lost 1,000 men defending the U.S. after 9/11. We have so much respect for Britain, and all I can really do is try my best to expose those fake royals in America for what they really are, a couple of slime balls. And you, what do you think about them? Please tell me your opinion below in the comments. If you think my video is helpful, don't be afraid to like and share it with anybody else who would love it anytime you want. Thank you so much for watching, goodbye, and I'll be back to see you in the next videos.